Hi, let me share my screen. I think it's in the correct one. If anyone, you see, I think we are good, right? Please make questions in the chat. Again, if someone wants to send in Spanish, Portuguese, I think Adam was know something about Spanish. I think Guilherme as well. I'm going to the Portuguese side, so I'm going to try to answer everything in Portuguese. Mary can answer in Polish, so we have Polish.
For sure.
So let's just start.
I think Romanian, you got
Romanian,
French.
Well,
Greek.
Don't shy away if something piques your interest.
Come on, guys. Let's send like questions. We have like almost all languages in one place. So no matter where you are, what's your language, we can answer your questions about Kafka. Let's do this. So the whole idea is here, like I say, we take control. Adam's not with us today. We're gonna come back in the next one for sure. Let's take the day off. So we're gonna start to talk about this new connector called Azure Event Hub Source Connector. So this is one of the most expected connectors, in my opinion, from my community to be released, because I'm gonna say later on, we only have 2 options when we talk about we working with Azure, we working with Event Hub. So I'm gonna delve into this. Me, Maddie, and everyone is here. I hope you guys can, again, interact, make questions, feel free to, okay, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, so we can make like this session more interactive. So the whole idea is, let's talk about Event Hubs and Kafka, right? For the start is, Kafka is de facto the stream platform, like a standard. There's no way that we can change that. Every tool, every type of technology they work with storing, streaming, messaging, usually using Kafka standards like naming of objects, the way the protocol works. And Event Hub is not far from this. So we have Kafka as our open source solution to have like this. I always say that it's like the central nervous system of the company. Every data passing through Kafka, for APIs to databases, everything passing through. And then Microsoft, as Microsoft always think as, okay, I need a managed service for this. So they come with Event Hubs, like a fully managed real-time ingestion service. So you have these big factories of IoT, for example, you want to ingest a lot of data, a lot of message sensors. I'm going to explain this later on, so don't bear with me. I want something that can be scaled. I want something that I don't need to worry about clusters. I don't need to worry about anything else. I just click and next finish, and I have my service ready. That's Event Hubs. Again, it works with Kafka protocol, but it don't have all the features, all capabilities of Kafka has. I'm going to explain a little bit about it as well. So if you ask me, Mateus, I want to go only with Event Hubs, depends of the use case, I might say that you might need Kafka for that, because Kafka more robust, more complete of features of, how can I say, as a platform itself. We can build platforms on top of Kafka. Event Hubs, I can say, is more about ingestion, more to absorb the shock of having too much messages, to have too much data on ingestion part. Okay. So far, so good. Let's see a little bit about the Event Hubs. That is, let me remove this more easily. Similar again, like I say, when I say that really Kafka create a standard, really Kafka create a standard. The whole idea is Event Hubs have the same names of, I have partitions instead of the topic when I store the data. I have consumer groups. They're gonna, when I have to read the data, my application is gonna enter, or they're gonna be added to a consumer group, and then you're gonna access that data itself. Producer. So if you see that it's similar, way too similar to Kafka, because the whole idea is to be the same standard. But again, I can ingest like millions of events, messages that's happening. One important thing is Event Hubs, it supports at least delivered message guarantee. Kafka delivers exactly one semantics. So it doesn't, in this case, Event Hub does not have this capability of exactly once. It goes at least once. But again, it's a managed service. It's a great service. Everybody wants to use it. It's great. But you have need of integration. I have to move the data all the time. And that's funny, the funny thing is ingestion. I have to put data to someone else for their downstream applications or analytics to access that data. So at the end of the day, what happened is I need to move on. I need to go to ingestion. I need to put this data in some place. And for example, I need to integrate with Kafka. Most of the thing is Kafka. So how I can integrate Event Hub with Kafka? I have like 3 simple ways. The first way, and the most common way, is, okay, I'm gonna build something. I'm gonna create like application. I'm gonna consume data from Event Hubs and produce data inside Kafka, but it's all managed by you. You have to have the knowledge of Event Hubs and Kafka. You have to update your libraries. I have a problem with a customer, for example, that for a time it starts to work correctly, the integration between cloud services and on-premises, but then they change the library and they stop, just stop, everything they stop. So we have to update the library, change the method of consuming that information for that service, so it can be like cumbersome. So the other way is I can enable what called capture in Event Hubs. I can throw this data inside of a blob storage. Okay, the data start to not be real time anymore, but okay, I can do this. And then I have a connect to go into the blob storage and pick up my data into Kafka. Okay, I have too much ROPs. The best part in this approach is a service of Event Hub itself. So I don't need to configure like tons of things. I go to the capture, I enable into the topic, start to deploy my information inside the blob storage, and then I can use the connector. I have only the connector part. The most simple way is I have a connect. I have a connector that goes into Event Hubs and throws data into Kafka. Until this live, we only have one connector. That's the Confluent one. I'm a community guy. I'm coming from open source, so I like open source thing. I don't like to feel like attached to something. So the Confluent Event Hub connector sourcing, it is paid. We have to have a license for that. We know that how things goes. We have to wait for a new feature. It's not something that we have much control. The open source part is I can contribute. Okay, there's some feature, there's something that I need for my use case. I can request this for the community, and then you can work together. I'm more like a community like engine, like everybody work as one unit, like one goal. So that's the beauty of working open source. So until now, we didn't have an open source connector for Event Hubs. But Maddie is gonna explain a little bit about it. I'm gonna leave with him, but bear with me. First is, okay, Matthias, why do we need all of this? Why we need to know of this? Why do we need to push data into Kafka, Event Hubs to Kafka? So we go through a few examples that these are real life examples. I already faced this before. Again, there's not easy challenge. So the first is more and more we see the concept of cross-cloud in the company. So I have these services on Azure. IoT service sensor, for example, is running into Event Hubs, but I need to push this into MSK, more robust, to get more about analytics. I want to do like a predict maintenance. My whole team in downstream applications is on AWS. So this might be complicated. Again, I need to push the data. The data itself is one place, but I need to another. So again, we have the connector, we can build a custom application, or we can have a lot of ways to push data inside object storage. I'm not gonna say specific about this because we have, again, a lot of ways to do this. But this one way is to make these two working together. I don't want to leave this on Azure. I don't want, for now, for this explanation, I don't want to leave my IoT sensor application in other place. I really like how it works, but I need the data that is on there. I need the data to be on a scale. So I need to migrate. I need to make these two integrated to each other. The other way is migration application. Okay, I have these three applications running in the hubs, but in the end of the day, I want this to go to MSK. I want to do span. I want exactly one semantics, for example. So the first, I can stop my operation. I need to have everything running. So I can just start to move data to the other one and then moving my application into MSK and make everything communicating them. I need these two applications to keep syncing data into MSK because these new applications are going to use the data of other applications to keep running. So it's another case that we can use of. But I think I'm going to stop now. I think I'm going to pass now to Matty for him to show more about the connector himself, to talk about the connector. I explain about the use cases, I explain why we need it. Matty, I think now is with you to show them the connector, to explain more about it, and then I'm really anxious to see your demo about it.
Thank you very much, Matthias. It's very nice to be here today and to show you guys around a little bit what we are cooking really in Lenses as of right now. If I can quickly summarize where we're at as of right now, is that as you saw, I think I may be able to share this one once again, just to give a quick recap. So of course, once again, event hubs, which is the source of the data, which is the solution that you're already using, which is this big data streaming solution. Of course, you probably already have your event hubs set up, so something that is really that you already have in your infrastructure. After that, what may be the case of you, because it all depends on what you really want to do, is you may want to, for example, try to, you may see that you have all of your existing applications inside the event hubs, but let's say you want to try another solution that you see would fit into your world, and it only uses Kafka, right? We have, as Matthias said, three main ways, because of course this is not exhaustive in any means, of how we can really get data from event hubs and push it to Kafka. How we want to really build upon it is to go with the simplest one, because of course most of it, for example, the customly developed app, it will cost you, right, to build it. The blob storage, there's another step that you have to take. It won't be as easy. But there is this one right here, right? The Kafka Connect one, when you're having the source connector and where you can really use this source connector to push the data into Kafka. As Matthias said, and as I want to recap, we have solutions for that because there are already connectors like I'm sharing the screen, sorry.
The Confluent one. That's the connector.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much, Matthias. That's exactly the case. So we have, for example, the Confluent connector, which definitely can fit this purpose because this is a source connector, right? But what we have to keep in mind is that assigned to those connectors, there are licenses, right? So there are different types of licenses. And if we want to use those connectors, we have to abide the license. Where I think we can shine with the Lenses connectors is the Apache 2.0 license, which is very easy to use. It's very permissive. It helps you if you want to commercially use it, right? If you want to build upon it and then have your customers to use your solution and pay you for it. It's very easy when it comes to the distribution, to the modification. You can definitely modify the code because this is open source, right? Matthias, you said you're one of the guys that likes it open source. I like it open source as well, right? It allows for an easy patent use, for easy private use. So this is definitely something that you can build upon. So what we want to present you here is our way, Lenses way, to approach this scenario when you want to get your data from the event hubs to the Kafka. So let me quickly go through the example, right? Because we are all here tech people, or at least tech related. So we want to get into the meaty stuff. Let's get into the meaty stuff and let's see how it really works in a real case scenario. So let me quickly share the screen. It's gonna be this one.
Yeah.
All right. So gentlemen, Azure Event Hubs. I'm not gonna say I'm a pro at this, not at all. I started to pick it up recently, but what I can give you is that I feel that this is a very cohesive, nice way to look at the event streaming if you want to have it in your applications. We have one event hub here, which is the Stream Reactor. This is what is called Event Hub namespace. Within this namespace, what you're doing is you're creating your event hubs. So those works like topic in Kafka. Of course, if any of this, what I'm talking about right now, is not so well understood, feel free to give us a comment, shoot us a question. We'll definitely give it a bigger look, a better look. But how we want, probably this is the most simple scenario. You want to get data from the event hubs to the Kafka. How you can do this? Let's say here I'm having this event hubs namespace. What I want to have is another event hub. So I will get an event hub. Of course, let me call it, I already wanted to call it somehow, for example, Azure Hubs Demo. I will quickly tell you why I want to name it this way, but you will see it shortly. Of course, it will be any name you really want. So Azure Event Hubs. Partitions. Matthias already touched upon this topic. You can have different partitions within your event hubs. Let's give it a 4, right? Because why not? Of course, this is definitely whatever fits your scenario. What's the cleanup policy? For example, this is delete for 1 hour, but it will work whatever the cleanup policy it is. I'm gonna create one, Azure Event Hubs. And of course, since we want to really connect to it using our Lenses connector, what we need to do is to have a shared policy or privilege, right, to our application that we will be able to use in order to read the data. So what I'm going to do is to create one of those shared policies inside the but I of course have to go inside the one. Otherwise, I will give the permissions to the whole namespace, which is probably sometimes what you may want to do, but I just want to give it permissions to this one topic. Shared access policies. You can see this is right. This is the event hubs that I'm trying to connect into. And there are no policies yet. So I want to add one. I will say it's a Lenses connector, let's say. And as for now, I just want to listen to the data, right? There is no need to give it more permissions than to listen. So what I need is to create this one. And of course, because it's quite easy, it will already give me the whole connection string that I will need to use inside my connector. So I have everything set up right now inside the Azure. Let's go into the Lenses box and quickly set it up from the second end. So we are already inside the Lenses box. Let's go into the connectors. Let me add a new connector, and there is our Event Hub source. It is not, of course, yet inside the newest version, but it will be there shortly. So look forward to it. And of course, if you see something and you want to provide us feedback, feel free to do that. We are really open to feedback. So Event Hub source, and what I have here and why I named the Event Hub like that is because here what I will need is I will need to provide the configuration for the connector. So of course there are simple bits, the ones that we have every time. We have our favorite KSQL, which David touched upon in our last session. So feel free to really, if you want to see KSQL in action and see all of the different purposes that it can that it can fit, feel free to go back to the VOD. It will be touched upon that. But as you can see, we are also having support for KCQL, or at least part of it, inside this new connector. So something to look forward if you like KCQL. Of course, I'm giving it a consumer group, also something that Matthias touched upon. I'm saying what are the protocols, and here inside the JIS config, what I will need is just this connection string. So this is the only thing that I will really need from this Azure port. I will need to just paste it here, and afterwards, if I create the connector, it should be already running. Of course, there isn't. Sorry.
That easy.
That's it, man. So of course, there's nothing yet in the event hub. So we'll probably want to read something. Let me quickly use one of the tools. By the way, as you can see, those are neatly organized here in this section. For example, this capture thing that you said, right? It's also here in case you ever want to go different route. But what we are going to do now is we want to generate some data in order to be able to push it to the event hub. So let's say host, or maybe host will be Matthias, and host 2 will be Matty. Of course, I can modify it whatever way I want, but I will just go with a simple example. I just want to repeat the send right now, and boom, sending the events to the event hub. It already gave me the offset, right? So the position, let's say, and what I should be able to see very soon inside because the connector is already here running, right? There is the task. And what I should be able to see here in a moment, I'm not sure if it's here yet, maybe very soon, because I just pushed it. Of course, there's no need to create a topic inside Lenses if there is no data, right? But very soon, it should be here. Of course, I don't see it yet. Let me. It was here, but of course, yeah, thank you very much. That's it. So Lenses hubs output. As for now, because I didn't set up this topic, it sees the key as a bytes, because what we want to do is to just do a simple pass-through. But what I can do, if I want to really check what is inside it, right? What I can just say that this is a string, this is also a string. And as you can see very shortly, we will be able to see, our hosts. The second part, right, what I can do, by the way, I didn't see it because I'm zoomed so much, is I can also generate some more data, and it can be, there can be quite a few. So for example, yellow taxi data, there are 50 events already in that. Let's say, send it 3 times, right? So it would be 151 and 50, plus the one that I sent already, right? It's already sending the data, giving it the sequence numbers, and very shortly, it should be, it's not yet here.
Try to
type. It is total messages, 151. So it's a very simple, fast way if you want to bring the data from event hubs to Lenses. So definitely something to look forward. And as I said, if you want to just bring the data and maybe feed it to the other applications, I guess this should serve the purpose very well. Hope this suffices as a demo. Of course, if there are any questions, feel free to shoot.
Okay, I'm plugging mute. Amazing, Matty. Amazing demonstration. I think now we can see the power of how easy it can be to integrate these both tools. And the connector is, I can say, like just 2 clicks and then you have everything set up. Like, and I like this because it's go against the Microsoft way of things. Microsoft is more about this. Okay, make it easy as soon as possible. And this connector is something that's pretty easy to show. So if anyone has a question, let me just share my screen for the next one.
Matthias, when's the connector available? Or Matty?
Yeah,
Is it on GitHub yet or not?
Yeah.
To be honest, it's kind of hidden as of right now because we want it to be part of the next release. So it's kind of hidden. Of course, if you are tech savvy, you should be able to more or less see it because it's open source, right? So once again, the pro open source. But it should be there shortly with one of the newest releases. So look forward to it, especially if you already use Event Hub and want to dip your toes inside the Kafka Connect.
And maybe it's an opportunity to say we've got a new lenses release in about 10 days' time. I think Alex, or I don't know if we can share the link to the webinar. So as part of that 5.5 release, we'll be, I think, officially announcing this connector, right? So if anyone wants to join us for that webinar, I think we can probably paste a link to register. Yeah, Alex has just shared a link. So I think it's on the 12th of April, just after Easter. Join us for a brand new release of lenses. And then this is actually one of 3 connectors that will officially be launching. Sorry, Matthias. Go ahead.
No.
Next week's
I was as well expecting when you're gonna be release date because I want to use this one as well. I can use it because I'm less, but I want to be like everyone. I want to take back to the community. Okay, it is now available. How easy it is. Guys, please send comments, send message for us, what you guys have been thinking about the sessions. We're trying to make some experiment, like changing a few things, taking over when Adam, because Adam is the owner of it, Adam is the voice. But we try to do some nice things. For the next one, we're gonna talk about customer user-defined functions, the famous or infamous UDFs for SQL querying, for querying data inside of Kafka. So stay tuned. Most of things that we can solve with SQL. SQL is not that. Okay, guys, never gonna die. I heard this. Everybody's worried about Scala, Java, Python, other languages, but SQL is always the de facto language for data. So I think that's it. Maddie, thanks a lot again for the demonstration, for the explanation. It was amazing. We love it. Everything. You show how easy it is to set up the environment and to work with the connector itself. Connectors like 2 clicks, like was already done, but to show this about how you can configure the event hubs, how you can give access. This is something that's pretty valuable for us, for testing, for developers, for the data professionals as well. So thanks a lot for that. And I hope we'll see you soon in other sessions.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And everyone, have a wonderful rest of the day. Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. Great work, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thanks.